there has to be a mask ripping off moment, like a shocked, like who is this? It has to happen.
I want to see characters interact with each other without like with one knowing who it is and not like, you know, that's always fun with like masquerade, where it's like you get to just see fun interactions that you don't usually get to.
Or maybe Bundin, hear me out. Character A and B are masked, right? And character B doesn't think that character A knows it's them because they have their masks. But character A fully knows that character B is character B. And then they go dancing. Oh my god.
Welcome to The Story Thinker, a Webtoons and Witcher podcast for superfans with scene-by-scene analysis. Featuring sharp co-hosts for a fuller picture, we dive deep into character psychology, relationships, and theories. We'd love it if you could like, subscribe, comment, and rate us on all podcast platforms and social media. For bonus content, you can support The Story Thinker on Patreon. Let's begin.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 119 of Purple Hyacinth, Savvy Spy. And there's lots of stuff to discuss in this episode. We start out with a private, not complete meeting. We have Queen Lisbeth, we have Stephan, and I'm sorry I did not look up those two lords' names. Does anyone remember those other two lords? Dark hair and gray hair?
I don't think we actually know. So
okay. We're calling Mr. Goatee and I don't know, he looks like a musician to me, or Einstein, Albert Einstein. So Einstein is constant. So Mr. Goatee says, better safe than sorry. We can't risk having Chief Sinclair raising an army for the right hand unbeknownst to us. So right away we see, they are having this internal private meeting to express their suspicions of Dakan right away. And not only do they suspect Dakan, but Albert Einstein says, I've never quite trusted Chief Sinclair, and it seems more and more like I've been right to. All these years with so few progress on the Phantom Scythe, surely someone must be throwing sand on the wheels with the APT. And Goatee says, and who'd be better placed for this than the chief himself? And Stephan says, especially with the help of his lover, so conveniently high-ranked in the government. And so anyways, I just want to say my first thoughts about this was, how I had this theory about Queen Lisbeth and what's she doing behind the scenes, and I'm still like in a reserve judgment on that. But these people are at the very least, genuine, I guess, about their suspicions. They're I don't know if I would call it underhanded machinations, since they're doing some of it, but they are doing it for the purpose of figuring out who's in the Phantom Scythe. I feel like that's kind of like what their job is, So like they're just doing their job. And
well, these are definitely like the nobility, and so like the higher ranked people, and so the Phantom Scythe especially poses a threat to them, as the Phantom Scythe really likes to target nobles. And I think we can safely assume that this is the council that Lisbeth mentioned in episode 68. And so like below the king, it's these people. They're the next like step on, ruling Artalis. So I think especially after the factory explosion, there's a lot of questions about what's going on with the Phantom Scythe. So yeah,
I think one of the main things with them is, in their mind, if you're a noble, why would you even like entertain any of the Phantom Scythe's requests for anything? Because again, they don't see the poor and underprivileged as like needing these improvements, whereas at least from what we've seen, Dakan and Tristan are really trying to make it better for everybody, especially Dakan with really pushing, like trying to talk to like the Phantom Scythe and all that, and it just does make him look suspicious. But at the same time, for them, it's kind of like, why are you even entertaining these terrorists' requests? And that suspicion like pushes them to think, okay, what if they're the leaders? And I'm just like, y'all are doing nothing though. But I get it. But you're doing nothing.
Right. They have not been. They've been missing the point.
Yeah, I think a big part of like their mistrust to Dakan stems from like how Dakan shares an ideology with the Phantom Scythe, and how Dakan is more open to talking with the Phantom Scythe and trying to just make a truce between the two groups. And so it makes Dakan an easy target, and then especially with Tristan, how, as they're saying, he hasn't been very efficient as the chief of police, it makes them very easy targets to point fingers at when it comes to how the Phantom Scythe has evaded the nobility. And so I think there is something interesting about how even just entertaining the idea of talking to the Phantom Scythe or treating the Phantom Scythe as anything more than just like terrorists or scoundrels. I mean, they kind of are, but like, you know, having the idea that, you know, maybe there could be talks between us, right? And just even like agreeing with some of the Phantom Scythe's ideology about class, you basically become aligned with the Phantom Scythe in the eyes of the people around you, regardless if you really are in the Phantom Scythe or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. It's a shame. I mean, I don't know what the Phantom Scythe would do if the monarchy was, you know, actually improving the situation for the lower classes. Like, would they stop doing terrorist acts, or would they just continue because they become used to being violent and in control? But, you know, it's like they're just shooting themselves in the foot, right? I mean, obviously we know they've made some improvements, but not enough. And it's just sad that they haven't realized. But maybe let's do a little more. Anyway, so Queen Lisbeth continues about Dakan. Someone my husband trusts blindly, unfortunately. They were practically raised together, and he's been right hand for longer than Philip has been crowned. That's interesting that they were raised together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Noble families, probably.
Yeah, we don't really know much about the Rhymesels, and like that would be really interesting though. Like, say Dakan was the leader, you know, it would really draw a parallel between him and Edward, or not Edward, him and Philip, because like, you know, they're the childhood friends who grew up together, and then they kind of like ran the country together for a bit. You know, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he is the leader, but you know, that'd be a cool parallel.
The irony too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what the next thing that Queen Elizabeth says, I think points us to something. She says, Rhymesel despised King Edward, just like he despises our ways. And I wonder if there wasn't like something more personal, some reason that Dakan despised King Edward. Was it just because he was, you know, an uncaring monarch? Or was it something personal? Like, he was his friend's dad, right? Like, usually when you're a kid, you know, and like he would have been, you know, an adult. What happened that made him hate him? I'm thinking there might be a backstory there.
I think it could be linked to the stuff that happened in the print shop, right? I don't know, like, that might be too soon, so too close to like the explosion and stuff, but you could see it like being sort of linked, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
but that could definitely be an inciting incident for Rhymesel to be like, okay, the king is not a good person, and I do not like him and his policies.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I'm wondering, because we know that Edward was much more like, he cracked down on like free speech a lot more, and especially like reporting and journalists who would report on his like laws, and then he would also crack down on the socialist groups and the protesters against his government.
And he also had the death penalty.
Yeah, he had the death penalty. And so like Bundin, I wonder if that's why Dakan disliked King Edward, because you know, it's just very good reason to hate someone. You know, they're making journalists disappear. Like, that's a little shady, you know. But again, it's also just a kind of soon, or like just very recent to the like, well, not really recent, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, but it was just close to the Allendale train station tragedy. And Lisbeth kind of, her wording of this, speaking of how Dakan and Philip were childhood friends, it makes it seem that Dakan has disliked Edward for much longer than the timeline that we know of right now, with the socialist groups disappearing or the journalists disappearing. And so, yeah, it's also interesting to note that because they grew up together, Dakan kind of had like a first class seat to seeing all of the atrocities that the royals committed. You know, he's probably involved in a lot of them as well.
Might have seen Edward on the more personal side. Like, I'm not sure but he was, well, it depends how sheltered he was raised in terms of how much he saw about, outside of him, like the classes that he wasn't part of. That really depends on how sheltered he was. But I think maybe he would have seen Edward personally, not just as a monarch, and maybe also as a father. Maybe he was a jerk, to his son.
Yeah. We do know that Dakan was Edward's right hand for a time, and then he became Philip's right hand. We don't know when or for how long he served Edward, but
he would have been pretty young also, too, right? He would have been like late 20s, early 30s potentially.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's interesting because we know that Edward was not that great a guy, and I'm pretty sure we knew that Dakan disliked Edward from before. I don't remember when, but it might have been an inference. But yeah, having it kind of confirmed is interesting because, Lisbeth picks up on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and she also said just like he despises our ways. That's a very much like us against them thing. Again, I still like to hold out by Lisbeth, something behind the scenes theory. But honestly, really, if I have to be honest, from the way she's portrayed here, she just seems like a flat out villain and, flat out member of the nobility who doesn't care for the poor. And, she says that it's very strong here, which is like, it's us, our ways, our noble ways versus, the poor. So unfortunately, I may have to abandon my theory of Lisbeth having more depth to her.
Yeah. I agree with Mindy. Like, I think, on the it's us against them mentality, I think it would have been I think it would be interesting because this issue is definitely probably going to get explored much more to see like the motivation of Lisbeth, because I feel like we haven't really gone that much on her, right? Because we know that like she wants to rule Artalis, and she does that by like puppeting her husband, and she has a mentality that's very similar to the old king, and that old king got assassinated in a huge bomb explosion for his ways. But I kind of just want to see why Lisbeth is the way she is, why she has this mentality and she still looks at the world and is like, yeah, this mentality is the right one to have, because her oppression of the poor just kind of cycles into itself, and that's how you get stuff like the Phantom Scythe. And when you silence the peaceful groups, then they become violent in Phantom Scythe. And she knows that does she know that Snapdragon became Phantom Scythe? I don't think so, never mind. But
she might. Again, I feel like when we first had Dakan and Lisbeth have that like conversation in the dark where people began to like joke ship them, he mentioned something about Snapdragon and like what you like, something along the lines of like well like what your actions can lead to, or something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah, so for Elizabeth, I just wonder, like, does she realize how she perpetuates issues that further empower the Phantom Scythe? Like, does she view herself as a problem? And if not, why doesn't she view herself as the problem?
She does it just because she thinks she's right.
Yeah, but like, what is she trying to achieve, Because, like, is she trying to ensure status? Is she trying to ensure, like, power? And we could say, like, she's trying to ensure money, right? That's a very...
She's also trying to ensure the safety of her child, who will become king and have this target on his back eventually.
Yeah, so I just wonder, like, I wonder if we're going to get more of that, if we're going to see more into Lisbeth, because right now she's kind of a bit 2D, I think, in how she's like, she's a very easy bad guy. And it's valid.
That's why I was kind of hoping, like, I was hoping there was something else, like, maybe she comes from the South Side originally, or she's from a different kingdom. Like, I really was hoping for more development from her, but I'm not seeing it. So I think she just might be the stock villain, like with the
like one chapter where we see her backstory and stuff, and it's like, or like a flashback to that time and like the court of King Edward and all of that. And I feel like we will get that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's something that's like crucial to the understanding of the plot and how things ended up as they are now. So
yeah,
I'm really
really
hold
excited
out for that.
I'm sorry. I'm really excited for when we get that because Lisbeth is kind of a bit of an enigma to me, and so I'm really curious to see more into her, and I'm looking forward to when that comes.
Well, who knows? Maybe you'll be a Lisbeth stan one day too.
No, I doubt it. I'm curious about her backstory, but I don't think it's gonna change anything I feel towards her.
All right, that's fair. So Einstein says, "I've called it before. Linesel and Sinclair are two best prospects for the leader." And someone on the Discord said, "Oh, he's theorizing just like us."
Theorizing.
Which is 100% true. Everyone's trying to figure out who it is. And Lisbeth leans back. "I'm glad we all agree. Hopefully I will bring my husbands to see clear as well. Neither of them can be trusted. In the meantime," her earrings are great, by the way. Sorry, I just noticed them and I really like them. "You know what to do." And she turns to Stephan and says, "Spymaster." And he nods. All right. So,
okay, so we know that there are multiple spymasters, so I'm kind of confused if like this is the spymaster referenced in 68 because
I forgot about
like Dakan spymaster, and I need to check like is it the same spymaster there, because we also know that some other spymasters have been mentioned lately and they're all different.
I feel like this is like a Game of Thrones thing where everybody just has their own network of spies at this point.
Yeah. Like
obviously we've been, PS has a spymaster and we've been speculating it could be Raphael, in which case it would be incredibly ironic if Stephan is the spymaster for the royals and his son Raphael is spymaster for the Phantom Scythe.
Yeah, I feel like Will's family, really need something going on with them. And we see Stephan's going on, but now we have to figure out Raphael and Josephine. Maybe Josephine's just like, half corpse, but like Raphael's still pretty suspicious. So maybe he's the messenger. I still think he's the spymaster. Maybe not the royal spymaster, but like the Phantom Scythe spymaster, perhaps.
Be a fun parallel.
Yeah, because outside of like Lauren's family, Will's the only one in the main four with a named family. We see Kim's parents, but we don't know their names. So Will, your family, what are they hiding?
And also the fact that like in the last episode, Will talks about how like he's kind of shocked that his father hasn't been assassinated yet. Maybe one of the reasons why. I think that there's a big deeper meaning for that. But I think one of the main reasons why potentially is that because he has this whole network of spies, he just knows what's up and can nip that in the bud before it can affect him potentially. I think there's more sus things going on with that, but that could be.
I was also thinking because of like, Sandman was saying about how the Phantom Scythe uses relationships against its members, right? Mm-hmm. We can basically say Raphael is somehow involved within the Phantom Scythe. And it could be that not only Will is being used against him for blackmail, but Stephan as well.
Someone said that what if I forgot who it was. Still with me? What if Stephan had been the one to push his son Raphael to be in the PS and in the spymaster, so he could have someone speaking within the PS, a spy within the PS? Maybe that's how Raphael got into the PS.
And then he was like, "I like it here."
Well, or maybe not. Maybe he feels forced into it, and whether his dad, we always figured it was forced into it for some reason, but maybe it was his dad who did it. So he could have a near.
But like, that would be really dangerous to do, right? Because if you're the son of this very important, like he would have been the chief of police at the time, right? You're the son of the chief of police and you all of a sudden want to join us, and that's not suspicious at all. Like, I would be like, if I was in the Phantom Scythe and this happened, I would be like, this guy is fully a double agent, right? So like there's something that happened that allowed him to do this, or some sort of trial that he sort of went through to like prove his loyalty perhaps. And who knows, maybe he is still loyal to his father. We don't know. But yeah, that would be a really hard sell for me if this rich boy rolled up to my organization and was like, "I want to join." It's like, you know who your father is, right? How would we ever trust you?
It's okay, Bundin. He knows how to play piano blindfolded. I think that's enough to convince them. Yeah.
They needed a piano player for sure.
Yeah.
I love how the more with every chapter that has officially some more information about like the mystery, we just get more questions.
Yeah, I think that's kind of. I mentioned this in like fan theories though, because I just got like episode 114. I think it's interesting how unrelated Lauren and Kieran have been to a lot of this information, you know? Like this, they never even found out about this spymaster from 86, and we already know his identity now. And then we also know Apostle 7's identity, so I think that's kind of funny.
Part of the fun with a lot of stories is seeing characters, like us knowing information the main characters don't, and seeing them either like come close to finding it out or seeing some pattern but not putting it together. I don't know, I love that in a story where it's like, you know what they don't know, and seeing them try to figure it out, seeing them react to like their lack of knowledge is just kind of like frustrating but also like fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're just like, just figure it out already.
I have a question. I'm wondering, with all these mysteries that we have in Phantom Scythe, how long is the reveal going to last? Like, is it going to be like one episode at the end where like everything is revealed and it all falls together, or is it going to take? Because there's a lot of stuff to address. Like, so is it going to take like 10 episodes in the end or something to reveal all of it? How do you think it'll work? Sylvan F will structure that.
I think Loon is gonna find out Redcliffe's, or they're gonna find out Apostle 7's identity before the ball, because right now they need motivation to go to the ball, and it's just a big event, so there's like a lot going on, and it'd be easier for them to slip in. So, because right now we know that Kim and Will are going to be at the ball because they probably signed up, right? And they're main characters, so they kind of have to be. We can assume that Bella is going to be at the ball because she's Circus Royale and the circus will be performing. And then we can also safely assume that Darcy is going to be at the ball since she's nobility, and it's the kind of thing she'd be invited to. And maybe Lauren's invited to it too, but for whatever reason she declines. Or maybe okay, so basically that means Kieran needs a reason to go to the ball, and maybe Lauren actually does go with her, maybe Lauren does go and she takes Kieran as her date, you know, but they need a reason to do Loon stuff, right? So that would be their reason. They find out that Apostle 7 is Redcliffe.
I can see them fully just breaking in, and it's a masquerade, right? So they'll just wear masks and disguises, so they can fully just break in because they're really good at doing that, and just be in this party blending in with this crowd of masked people.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's been confirmed as a masquerade, but I really like how everyone agrees that it is, because I agree it's going to be a masquerade. If you tell me it's not a masquerade, I would look at you very funny.
It makes sense in my mind. I feel like it's like a Mandela effect. Like, isn't that what it's supposed to be? I could have sworn we had this information before.
There has to be a mask ripping off moment, like a shocked. Like, who is this? It has to happen.
I want to see characters interact with each other without, like, with one knowing who it is and not, like, you know, that's always fun with, like, masquerade, where it's, like, you get to just see fun interactions that you don't usually get to.
Or maybe, Bundin, hear me out. Character A and B are masked, right? And character B doesn't think that character A knows it's them because they have their masks. But character A fully knows that character B is character B. And then they go dancing. Oh my god.
Bellarcy.
I was gonna say I want that for Bellarcy. I want one of them to be like completely masked, you know.
I mean, I don't know, they
like
have
Bella.
very distinct features, the both of them. So it's like, how would they do that? Also, aren't Tristan and Dakan now aware about the ball being really sus?
Yeah.
So like they'll definitely be doing stuff with Loon now, probably to try and get shit figured out.
Good point.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that there's been a lot of recent foreshadowing about shit going down at the ball, because a lot of people have been like, "Hey, is the ball really safe to host?" You know?
Yeah. All right. So back to the scene. We hear it starts fading out. We just see we will be meeting tomorrow with Council 2, and then we focus in on this picture of presumably King Edward on the wall behind them. And it's an actual person. I don't know who it is. It's a picture of an actual person that, like, from real life, but I can't recognize the person. And then we zoom in on his eye. And what do you know? Darcy is spying on them through that eye. Okay.
Very Princess Diaries 2 royal engagement energy, and I appreciate it.
She's so hot for it. Also, I wonder how she found it out. Some people were saying that, like,
She made it.
Dakan taught her.
I thought it was
like all the secrets of the castle, and then Dakan learned those secrets from Philip.
Yeah, I could see that. They're playing around in the castle. They find these rooms that people might have forgotten about or just don't use anymore, don't think they're secure, and then shares it with his people who are spies for him.
This is a closet. I think whoever built this peephole was definitely spying. Like, I don't think King Philip would have left this peephole unless he's really dumb. But I think if he knew about it as a kid, like, I don't think he would have left it there just for anyone to spy on him.
True.
I think he could be really stupid or trusting, but I don't know. So she's hiding, she's looking there, and then little Prince Arthur puts his head around the corner. He's like, Neyra. So cute. She hears him and she's like turned around, and you see the view is very interesting because, you know, it's a kind of like this gray, it looks like this long tunnel. To me, it conjures the feeling of like being trapped or being like, it's just not pleasant. Or what is that? I thought that was the purpose of that panel, to just show that how trapped she is. Do you think that?
I think, okay, I didn't really see it before, but it looks like she's actually like in a tunnel, you know? And so, because you scroll down a bit and it looks like she's like making her way back down the tunnel, and then she kind of like climbs up something maybe, or like bends down, and then there's the closet. So.
Oh, okay, fine. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, I was wondering about that. Yes.
But yeah, it's like a false, like there's like a trap door somewhere that she can like crawl into from that crawl space into the closet.
But now I'm wondering, like, I didn't realize it was a tunnel before, mainly because I just like speed read it before, but like the castle has tunnels. Redcliffe's mansion has tunnels, you know, maybe the PS can use tunnels to infiltrate the castle.
The castle having a lot of tunnels makes sense. I've read a lot of like, not fantasy-ish, but like, you know, there's like castles and fortresses and stuff, and in order for people to make like a quick escape unseen, they'll go through the secret passages that they know about because they are like the ruler or whatever and stuff. So like seeing this, I was like, okay, secret tunnels. Also, yes, Princess Diaries 2, same shit. Secret tunnel, open the thing to the eyes in a portrait to spy on government meetings. Same plot.
Yeah, Darcy and Bella really do like be hiding in their respective tunnels. They're so girlfriends for that.
And then they're both in the note at the end was like Neyra still like being trapped in the closet.
Yeah.
Yep, very, very on the nose, very well played. Yeah, so she quickly shuts the peephole. Arthur is looking for her. He looks in the door, right? And then you see her, like you said, looks like she's coming through the tunnel, pushes open the door, comes out, and then little Arthur creaks open the door, and she's like, "You found me!" And she's sitting there on the floor, no sign of that little trap door, and it's a really cute expression on her face. And then she hugs him, and she's like, "It's my turn to hide now." And oh my gosh, I did not think Neyra had that soft side to her, because the first impression we got of her was like very controlled and very like snarky, honestly. And the way that she treats Bella, you know, with that attitude that she has. So I did not expect her to have this soft side, but it's so cute. I think she clearly has a nice little relationship with Arthur.
Yeah. Darcy is like a jack of all trades. You know, we meet her, she's very elegant, right? She's very composed. Then we see her with Darcy we see her with Bella, and she's like, oh my God. She is like very confident in herself, very like almost flirty. And then here she is being like super wholesome too. So I'm just saying, I think Darcy and Bella should open an orphanage together, because Darcy
being a good caretaker of little children. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying Darcy has had the best interactions with children lately. So, you know, it could work. It could work, especially since Bella's an orphan, and so it would tie into her past, and they're like preventing what happened to Bella to ever happen to another kid again, and Darcy has the money for it. I'm thinking, thoughts are going in my head.
And it would be a very virtuous thing for them to do. So
I think also, like, yes, like it's nice to see the soft spot, but I think part of it is just her making sure to like cover, like not be suspicious in any way.
Yeah.
Because even this little boy, like he like if he mentions like, oh, Neyra was like in a weird mood or something, like, to his mom, and we know his mom is just the most like easily the person to get sus really quickly. So her just kind of maintaining that is also part of like her covering for what she's actually doing. Though I don't think that I do think that she's still like genuinely like sweet with him, because he's just a little boy.
I do wonder whether like Arthur is going to become a more relevant character to the story, because he has ties to the queen and the king, but he's also just like very innocent, right? And he also has ties to Darcy, and so like he's prime blackmail material. Like if anyone wants to blackmail anything or anyone, you basically just get Arthur and you can blackmail like half the cast.
And is he going to be, besides her, like is Darcy, for example, going to have to choose with like, is she going to have to harm him or be a key in harming him? And that would be like some really good conflict.
The talk about how like Darcy has to be wary around Arthur lest he like report her to his mom. I think it's interesting, and I wonder if Arthur's going to have to like choose between Darcy or his mother if something comes up to that point.
And he's too young to understand. I think it isn't. I think he looks like very little. Like when I think he's old enough to understand any politics or I don't know how much he knows.
Right now, he's about 9 or 10, and that was confirmed by F a while back.
Yeah, I guess my kids can. They're a little bit. They can understand. They can get stuff.
Yeah.
The way he's portrayed, honestly, 9 and 10-year-olds don't really. I don't think they really act like this, but he kind of looks younger. But whatever, it's okay. I'll let it be. So now we go back to Neyra, Darcy in Tristan's home, and looking ravishing. I know Fwoot after line. She does look very good.
Yeah, I'm crying a little bit. There's some tears in my eyes.
Her outfit reminds me of like an explorer in the African jungle, like in the early 1900s, like that white shirt and pants. Yeah. So she puts down her tea and she says, and that's how their meeting ended. And Dakan and Tristan are sitting on the couch, folded arms, hands on their arm, worried. And Tristan says, I see. Thank you for your report, Lady Darcy. And Dakan says, their paranoia grows. I never thought they'd come to suspect you too, Tristan.
This is why Dakan is suspicious, because we can safely rule out Tristan now, right? But Dakan is still very much like top suspect. So,
I'm
if he
still
is
on
the
that
leader,
March train personally, but he do be sus.
Yeah, like, damn, imagine like if he is the leader and suddenly like Tristan is being suspected, like that would be horrible for him, right?
I can't handle. I don't want anyone to be the leader that we know and love. It's gonna be so horrible. I don't know. I'm not a dude.
I think it's interesting also that Darcy is working for Tristan and Dakan, and it definitely explains why she was at the party, because it didn't really seem like Darcy had ties to Lauren before, as they had just met, but she knew Dakan from work, so, and it seems like Dakan also recruited her for her
what
to
this
help
means
him
as well. This means that like the infamous he's dead. It's like now we know that she's at least pretty close with Tristan and Dakan, so that could be one of them being the he who is dead. And I don't want that. I don't want him to be anybody that we know again, but that might be a bit too much to ask.
I know, right?
Her like alliance with Dakan and Tristan also means that she probably shares their ideology, and so, which is much more like Snapdragon aligned. So I think that's interesting, especially with her relationship to Bella. as Bella is Phantom Scythe. So
right. I wonder what she thinks of what Bella does. She can't. I'm assuming she doesn't approve of assassinations.
I wonder, like, does she even know? We still don't even know if Bella knows, if Darcy knows whether Bella is Phantom Scythe or not. So
true. So many mysteries. And she continues looking down thoughtfully. She says that it isn't that surprising. We are all scared, which is interesting because she says we, like she includes herself. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what she's afraid of exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised that being a spy for like both Dakan and Tristan and doing something for the Queen also. I mean, that's got to be pretty anxiety-inducing for her personally.
Yeah, no, it's like also it's like she's being a spy, but she's also like working very closely with the Queen and the royal family. Also, her girlfriend is in the terrorist organization that they're all like trying to fight, and it's just like lots of moving parts there.
Yeah. With Darcy, like I do like how she is not like a static character. Like she is doing her own thing, even if it's kind of separate from everyone. Like she's being a spy. She's she, and later in this episode she goes back to Bella's trailer and leaves the note again. So I like that for her.
Yeah, she's turning out to be interesting. So it's good. And she said, I better get going before they notice my access to the castle. So clearly she's there all the time. And she gets up. Tristan and Dakan get out to say, of course, many thanks, Neyra. Your help is precious to us. Be careful.
Sorry. I just want to say that this could mean that Darcy lives in the castle, which could also be like why Bella calls her princess, because she lives in the castle.
Yeah, I think she lives there. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And then they lock the door after her. And Dakan says, come, I need to show you something. And they walk together to the kitchen, and Dakan has his arm around Tristan, which is very sweet. But I have to say, I do not think what happens next is very sweet at all. You suddenly randomly see a basket of croissants and like a box of coffee. And he says, Lauren baked custard croissants with a maid's help in the hope you'd feel better. She left them here before leaving tonight. Tristan looks at it and looks at it again, and he doesn't eat it yet. And that's where the scene ends. I have to say,
he does smile a little bit too.
What?
He does smile a little bit as well.
Okay, that's true. So I have to say, I don't for a freaking second believe that Lauren made these croissants. I'm sorry. I know everyone's like, oh, it's so sweet, Lauren made them. I don't know. I can't see. First of all, I can't see Lauren making them. Second of all, why would she waste her time? Third of all, I'm sorry. I think it's just extremely sus of Dakan, and there's something in those croissants that is going to maybe knock him out. I don't think he's going to kill him because he loves him. I think that it might knock him out. Maybe the ball's coming up really soon, and there's something that he just wants him to be out of commission. I don't know. Maybe it's to save him so that he won't be at the ball and get like exploded. I don't know, but I feel like it's things are not what they seem, especially because he didn't eat it.
I'm just saying, why know about this and not offer one to Darcy? Dakan, why didn't you give one to my queen? Come on.
Maybe he did give one, and like Tristan didn't think about like, oh, we just have those, right? Like,
I know, but like she had tea. They gave her tea, or maybe she just brought her own tea. But she's a guest. Why would she bring her own tea? Come on, like give her like something to go with the tea, right?
I mean, I don't know. My roommate, she loves tea, and she will just straight up. It'll be like 2 a.m. and she'll be just making tea and just drinking tea, and that's it. No food with it. She just loves tea. She grew up with tea and all that. So I'm just like, okay. Well, also I saw someone say in the server last night something about how like, no, a lot of people who bake, they bake, but then they don't eat what they make. So it's 100% believable that Lauren like helped with the baking and just didn't eat because Lauren doesn't eat for shit. And I was like, yeah, no, there's no way Lauren ate any of these.
I think that if Lauren was trying to do something sweet, we would like see her actually do it. I think this is not relevant to the story if it was just that. If it was Lauren being nice, I don't think it would be important enough to like show. I think there's something suspicious, something happening here with these croissants.
I don't know. Maybe like they just did skip the scene because like maybe I just missed something, but Lauren going to the circus was like completely unexpected to me. Like she didn't have that line about how like, oh, maybe I should look into Redcliffe, and that was from 113, I think. But like otherwise, like the circus before this episode, we like had no idea that they were going back. I'm pretty sure. Like we just didn't know that that was their plan. So
Yeah,
maybe
I
the
do
scene
agree
was
that
skipped.
I do agree that it is kind of like a random thing, but also it's like efficiency of the story. Like we don't need to see every little thing happen. So like just having it be some things be relayed by characters. I don't mind, especially if they're like minor things. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't think it was sus. I was just like, random. But also I know that Laura like didn't after like their patrol didn't Will make sure that Lauren just wouldn't be in person again until further down, or was she still doing half days? I think I remember reading that one and being like, oh, is she just not gonna go to work until that
Lawrence-
opera night or whatever?
Yeah, Lauren's not supposed to be there until the opera.
Yeah. So I think she was probably home, bored out of her mind, and then she had her 2020 quarantine situation where she has nothing to do at home. Let's bake.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But, I'm gonna hold out for some drama with these croissants.
Honestly, I'm not like completely against like something going on, but it's just like I don't know. I think it's just a small thing.
Yeah, I think I kind of like how Tristan has this little smile, because if it was like actually made by Lauren, you know, she's thinking of her uncle, you know, after all that they've been through, and you know, she is kind of like a daughter to him, and that's kind of confirmed over the last few episodes post factory. So it's sweet, it's wholesome, and maybe there are some sleep-inducing drugs in the croissants that Dakan added. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll find out. So now we have some more intrigue. We open up to Bella's trailer, and who has waltzed in unannounced and unasked and uninvited once again? Our Lady Neyra.
No, but like
such poor security. Sorry.
Actually, does Bella not lock her trailer? Like, how does she get in?
Maybe she taught Neyra how to pick locks. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe Neyra knows.
Maybe, I like that.
Maybe Neyra knows how to pick locks. How do you think? Like maybe she picked a lock, and that's how she was able to get into those secret passageways in the castle.
Oh, I really like Bella being the one teaching her that. That's neat. But I think it's funny how she breaks into her girlfriend's trailer again. Like she got rejected the first time, and she's like, "I'm back."
That'd be funny if she stopped and was like, "Wait," before she leaves the note, and she like makes herself tea, drinks it, puts it down. Like, okay, then does it.
Yeah,
that seems to be her MO, you know.
Also, it means that what she told Dakan and Tristan was a bit of a lie. She didn't leave early to get back to the castle. She left early to go to her girlfriend's place. But yeah, like I am wondering now, does Bella sleep on the couch? Is that a living situation right now?
Maybe it's like a pull-out, like a futon.
Yeah, maybe it does have a futon in there, because we can't really tell if there's like another room to this trailer, and we've only seen this part of the trailer, so maybe there is no second room. So I like to think that Bella sleeps on her couch.
I think the trailer is pretty small. We saw the outside. I don't think it's big. I think it's just one room.
College student futon fold-out bed situation is what I think.
I'm just saying, if it is a futon bed pull-out situation, that futon could fit 2 people. So
of course.
Yeah. Nice. So she heads over to the couch futon, and under the pillow, you see, she just picks up the pillow, and you see her leave the room. We see a note under the pillow. Oh. Leaving love letters.
It's probably the same note that she tried to give Bella in episode 89, which I believe has an address and then probably like a date to meet. So she's asking for Bella's help, and we still don't know what that help is for. But given now that we know about Lisbeth's suspicions of Redcliffe, it could be that Darcy's trying to look into Redcliffe herself, and so she goes to the person that she knows has ties to Redcliffe, that being Bella.
Or warn her, maybe. She knows Bella is very devoted to Redcliffe.
Well, does she though? Because maybe Bella did tell her about how she doesn't really care about Redcliffe anymore, because that's what she was telling Kieran, right? And I feel like she would actually trust Darcy maybe a bit more with this kind of information, because Darcy's not PS. So it depends how long Bella's held the sentiment of how much she doesn't care for Redcliffe anymore.
Yeah. more mystery. So now we segue. We see some outdoor lights, and we see Lauren in her delightful blue dress, and she's walking some people behind her, and she sees the police. What's it called when they're patting someone down?
Yeah, just patting them down.
Yeah, and she thinks they weren't kidding about the increased measures. And she's in front of the circus, and she has a little flashback, and she says, "I haven't been here since that night." And we have a flashback to what the fortune teller told her. We have cards, as she says, the future, although it appears solid, the tower has been built on unstable truths and delusions. The world as we know it will come crashing down before you. Stricken by the lightning bolt of truth, there is no escape from the destruction. And this did happen, right? This is what she found out that her parents were apostles, right? The next part, we have, and then the reason, a betrayal, the painful, unexpected, but inevitable ending. Someone around you has or will stab you in the back, which that part is like, makes it super open-ended. While you cannot change your actions, you have power over your response to it. A final card, a potential outcome. First down the tarot card, death. Or in shock, inevitable. But death isn't just about life ending. It's about new beginnings too. The old needs to die for the new to come, be it for better or for worse. Well, so what are your thoughts now on this fortune telling? Now that we have a little more information.
Yeah, the emphasis on like the old needs to die for the new to come, and then just kind of a lot of the focus that we've gone on like Snapdragon lately. It makes me think that the Phantom Scythe is actually going to like overthrow the monarchy, and then season 4 is gonna, like, by the end of season 3, and then season 4 is gonna be about the PS actually ruling Artalis.
I personally see it more as like the overall end game of this story is going to end up with some sort of government reform where they begin to have more social services for all citizens and whatnot, and like things that actually begin to improve. Like, I think that's what it means potentially, but like I think there will be some sort of revolution before that that's gonna be bad and have a lot of bad stuff. But yeah,
and also
because death is not always a bad, like she said, death is not always like a bad card to get. It's usually like change or like something like that. I have tarot cards as well. I don't have them with me here, but once we got this reading, I like went into my like got all my cards and read the book on each of them, and I was like, yeah, this is it's more about change old into new rather than something ending, or like it is something ending, but it's more about evolution rather than like a hard stop.
Yeah, and the line "the old needs to die" and then Darcy's like "he's dead" line makes me think someone, you know, from the older side of the cast is definitely not surviving this season.
What about if he's dead refers to, like, I don't know, someone we don't really care about, King Philip?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe it is because like Lauren, you know, she's probably hiding out in the cave, right? And then Darcy comes to bring the news that the king is dead. Like, damn.
That means little Arthur is king now, and that people are gonna take advantage of him because he'll probably need a regent to rule in his stead since he's like a boy, which means Lisbeth is gonna run the show, and that's gonna be awful.
Well, that would maybe bring the confrontation to a head. That would be cool.
Maybe, oh my god. What if like Philip dies, Arthur gets put in as king, right? And then Dakan and Lisbeth, it's a war between them to try and like manipulate the new king, right? Because he's so young. And Arthur, who's like really sad, you know, over his father dying and then just kind of lost, being like thrust into this position, he turns to Darcy because she's like the main source of comfort in his life. I would pass away. And maybe what if, okay, this is really far-fetched, but maybe like there's a parallel to episode 110 and Arthur tells Darcy how like he understands what it's like to be the butterfly now, and like I would actually pass away.
That would be sweet, but also I don't think it's up to him to pick his like regent, because usually how these things go in real life is like if a monarch dies and their heir is like a child, it's the parliament or a council picks who will be their regent, and it usually just have to pick the person because like, you know, that's all the royal responsibility and whatever. It can't just be like up to the child, since they don't know better yet. So usually it's given to like the mother or something like that. So, but it would be nice if he was like, I want to listen to Darcy, not y'all. Y'all are awful. That would be nice. But also, like, he's just a small boy, and I don't know how much he'd realistically have, like, in terms of control. Right? Because if his mother is given like a regency, then he doesn't really have anything because he's not the king in terms of like being able to actually do things. It's her who will have all the power, and she could just be like, okay, hey, what, you're gonna be in your room, you're gonna be doing all of these things, I'll take care of everything. And he might just be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I wonder like
The idea of him like one-on-one like trying to understand Darcy, but also like he's a boy.
I do think if Elizabeth takes over, that would be a good way for the revolution to start, because she would probably enforce a lot harsher measures, and then people would get upset, and then blah 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 revolution.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think of the person who betrayed or will betray Lauren? Now that we have a bit more information,
Not Kieran, 100%. No way. It's not.
I was gonna say, I think Kieran is still on the table, especially after that protectee moment hallucination thing that he went through. Like, that was pretty suspicious, my guy.
Lauren, though. We already had to deal. It took us an entire season of us getting over that, and I don't think that would be just like smart, because then it's kind of like a regression, and it feels like we've done this already, you know, like story wise.
I don't think Kieran will, because I think Kieran loves her too much.
I don't think it's gonna be Kieran.
March,
just funny.
I can see. Yeah, this is I think my main person is March. I'm still so obsessed with that man.
I really want, like,
in my heart,
because the betrayal feels so like personal to Lauren. I'm kind of hoping that the betrayer, like, they weren't static in the betrayal, right? Like, it wasn't there that they were like just witnessing and that happened. They were like very much involved in that betrayal, and they did it knowing that like it would hurt Lauren. That's what I'm kind of hoping, because like it's kind of talking about like someone has hurt Lauren, you know, someone has betrayed Lauren. So I don't want it to be something like someone does something and it just also happened to betray Lauren at the same time. I wanted it to be like, yeah, they did this knowing it would hurt Lauren if it got out.
Yeah, I'm with that. Hey, what if it can be Herman? Like Herman discovering that she's Loon and you know, revealing that to the public.
I feel like a betrayal implies that you're not expecting it. And like she's fully like that, her conversation with Will, where she talks about him knowing and kind of being freaked out about it. It's like that seems like she's something that she's fully like bracing for.
True. Also, Herman's not exactly on her side. He's always been opposed to her. So yeah, true. All right. Well, we'll find out. So she thinks to herself now, should I go back and see her? I can't shake the feeling she knows things somehow. So I wonder, do you think the fortune teller knows something besides for her fortune telleriness? Or do you think she actually
know her name without even asking? I can't remember if that was the case, but I think that's what happened. But I'm not.
And she looks and she sees our boy Kieran blowing bubbles. So cute. Of course he does. He just entertains himself like that.
I love that it's like they could have had him be like, you know, looking all edgy, maybe like smoking or something, but no, bubbles. Yes.
The lighting is fantastic. And Surf was thanking the new renderer on Instagram and the flat artist. So thank you to all the people who work and make this comic. It's so beautiful. It's stunning. The lighting is always so amazing. That like, I don't know. I'm not going to say best because I never sat down and compared it, but definitely one of the best lightings I've ever seen in life. And he looks up at her, and his lips are still pursed. He's like, oh, which, you know, duck face Kieran, so cute. I can't say that I didn't think of him kissing Lauren at this moment. Sorry.
I didn't even think of that. God.
And she nods at him, and we have some beautiful lights. The merry-go, Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel.
I was saying merry-go-round. Nope, the Ferris wheel. And what?
It just all the lights are just so nice.
Yeah. And he's like feeling well enough for this detective. They're walking together, such a cute couple. And obviously, as people were noting, the level of comfort that they have, friendship that they have, as compared to the first time they were in the circus, just so beautiful to see the progression of their relationship. And she's like, I made Lucy got scared that I died in my sleep and woke me up.
Maybe that's why she was baking. Lucy was like, come, you're not doing this to me again. You're going to help me make these things now.
Maybe. And she's like, my last night was still a little bit weak, but I'm much better, honestly. What about you? And he's like, just as good as new. Slept about 3 hours. Should be enough for the rest of the week.
Why is it me right now? God.
Oh, no.
I've not been sleeping well at all recently. So when he said that, I was like, I relate so hard.
Sorry. This is awful.
And I've got like 1 month left of school, so it's just all of that.
Mm-hmm.
This deprivation is the worst. It's horrible. Legit a form of torture. Anyway, and she says, I don't know if I should envy or pity the fact that you're speaking the truth, which of course Lauren wants to envy it because she also is not a sleeper and, you know, does stuff instead of sleeping. And she's like, what did you do last night? And he says, now wouldn't you want to know, detective? Smile. And Lauren just comes back with the most like rude line ever. And she's like, whatever you did probably didn't last long considering your current physical state. Okay, Lauren. We see that innuendo there.
Banter. I'm here for it. I missed it. I'm happy. We haven't had these two interact since like 112. It's been so long.
Literally,
It's been 7 episodes.
No, it's not that one.
It's been so long.
Bundin, you concern me. 7 episodes isn't that long.
Like 7 weeks of my life, man. That is very long to me in my heart.
Fine.
Girl, I
You
have to
don't
wait
understand.
20 episodes
Mhm.
for
It's a
Darcy
long
to go
time.
back to Bella's house. And that's the closest we've gone for a Bella Darcy interaction.
Okay, well, Bella and Darcy are side characters. These are the main characters. We're meant to get more of them together. We didn't. But I'm like, you know what? We got a lot of good shit outside of it. We got him and Bella. We got her and Tristan and Dakan. We got Kim and Will. I'm not saying it was time wasted. I'm just saying I missed this.
I'm just saying, episode 115 gotta be like my favorite episode, period. Like that episode between Kieran and Bella was so good. And it was really good, partly because Lauren wasn't there. And I feel bad for saying that, but it's true.
Honestly, I wish Lauren was present for a lot of these conversations because it's like, I'm like,
Right.
which one of you is lying?
But that's the fun of it. They're all lying, and we don't know what part is mostly lie, what part's only like kind of lie.
Yes, my detector ability is very useful. So Kieran comes right back at her and he's like, stick around next time and find out. I will tell you, he always flirts with her and he freaking means it, okay? He means it. He just hides it in the guise of sarcasm because he's too afraid to tell her his real feelings. But he would like to, you know, engage in the horizontal tango with Lauren. I'm just saying, okay?
I do kind of wonder though, like, it can't be that long since that evening from 115. It probably wasn't the night before, but
Wasn't that the night? No, it can't have been the night before.
Yeah.
But it reads kind of
recent.
like it was, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He's been doing other shit, I'm assuming.
So like
I
Kieran's
can't
as
see
good
the
as
next
new. I think he doesn't. I don't think Kieran is actually like physically better. Really, he just like, yeah, I'm fine, and he believes that. Like he believes like, I can do anything, and then he still has like 2 ribs broken or something.
I mean,
But
broken
because
ribs can't really do anything, sadly. You just have to sit there.
But because he believes that because he believes that he can do stuff, he's like, yeah, he fully believes that he's fine, even though
Again, he's been through worse,
isn't.
so he's probably just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've been walking, I've done everything else with broken bones and bruises and all these things. I was okay then, so I'm okay now. And it's like, sure, jam.
Yeah, that's what I think what's going on with Kieran right now. So maybe in one of the next few episodes, there's gonna be a moment where he has to do something, and he's like, "Oh shit, I can't do this." And Laura's like, "I thought you said you were fine."
She's like, I knew you weren't fine. Also, I feel it in my bones. We're gonna get some good Loki shit in the coming weeks, and I'm excited. This is what I needed in my life right now to make me feel like, okay, I'm like, okay, there's good things. Getting good things still.
Yeah. So, like, enlighten me because my brain is not functioning right now. Sleep deprivation. Why was this? Why can't Kieran's interaction with like the leader and Bella have been last night? Did anything happen that I missed?
Because wait.
Actually, we don't really have any time. Like that could fully be just we getting information out of order. So that could have fully been last night, but also just because it happened so long ago, like we got like the Tristan, Dakan, and Lauren stuff, and then it cuts to the Kieran, Bella stuff and the leader stuff. And then it cuts to Lauren finally going to work after a few days. So the implication is that this stuff with Kieran happened like relatively close to when he visited her. And then she recovered for a few days and then she went back to work. And like, you know, it feels like it's a longer time based on just what's been happening. But it could have been last night. We don't know. But also he could fully be doing other things as well. And we just don't know about them.
Yeah, okay, hear me out. It could have actually been last night. I thought it wouldn't because of episodes like 116 and 117. And I probably have to reread. But right now I kind of see the timeline as so the day kind of starts on 111, right? Kim and Will come over, right? Then in 112, Lauren sees Kieran. And then she talks to Tristan and Dakan, and that conversation with Tristan and Dakan goes into 113. And meanwhile, Kieran is home and he's like super injured and he's just lamenting with his runes. And later that night, he goes out and he stumbles across Bella killing Flemings. And meanwhile, while he's doing that, the meeting is happening between the Phantom Scythe higher ups. And then we have 115, which is still that same night. He's talking to Bella. Then we have the morning later, which is 116, and Herman's kind of on to Lauren. And
that's also when he wakes up from his nightmare about Lauren.
Yeah. And then we go to 117. It's the same day. And then 118 is that evening of that day. And then this is also that same evening, which is a lot for one day. But it kind of reminds me of like the like late season 1 or early season 2, because it was like a lot of episodes and it literally took over the span of like 3 days maybe.
Oh yeah, we got the stuff at the Golden Clover, finding out about Harvey, the apartment, the funeral, killing everybody in the tower. All of that was in the span of like a day.
Yeah, like 4 days about, because Carmen's like 2 days later, so that's kind of funny to me. But yeah, it could very much have been last night that he was talking to Bella, and especially now that he's at the circus, like maybe Bella is still here because Hecate is here. Lauren thinks like, oh, maybe I go see her, so maybe Bella is performing still.
Yep. So Lauren's response is like deadpan, you know, and she ignores it and she just says, "You were investigating, right?" And he says, "Yes, and we got bad news." Fantastic. The first one being that, and he leans her over to the curtain, starts to open the curtain. Whoosh! It's you, Santa! And Lauren's like, "I'm dead." She's in a look of utter panic. It's like she faces like exploding bombs, ticking time things, and the factories and nitro with relative equanimity, but dressing up, she cannot handle.
The last time that they had this situation, we got the apartment stuff, which is some of my favorite stuff with them. So, praying for more good shit.
Oh my
But
gosh.
like, Kieran's such like a drama queen. I love it. He's like, it's dress up time, because he knows she hates it, and he's just like, ooh, and they're just being like horrified. It's the funniest thing.
Do you think they're gonna get dressed up as circus members? What are they gonna get dressed up as? Pastor, like just plain old disguises, so no one recognizes them?
Maybe like, I don't know, they're at the circus right now. It could be anything. I don't know. They're gonna have to be like, is it inconspicuous? They need to try and blend in with whatever they're doing. I'm just like, ooh, what are they gonna dress up as? I don't know.
I feel like it could just be like circus. It's like circus like workers, so they can like go around kind of like inconspicuously and get more information on the circus, because I think this is really supposed to like kind of build off of Lauren's line from 113 where she's like, yeah, we got to look into Redcliffe more.
Also having a disguise just makes sense, because the last time she was here, she was framed for murder, and she really can't afford to be seen again at this circus, right? It's like, why do you keep going here? Like all this, like, I don't know, that would seem really suspicious, right? Especially since she's been to the circus already, so it's not like she's like, I just wanted to like go again. Like that could be it, but that feels really flimsy. So yeah, she realistically getting a disguise just makes sense. But
I really hope that Bella is there so she can see Kieran and Lauren there and be like, come on. Like,
she wasn't there, you're on a date.
I think it would be so funny if like she tries to like toy with Lauren a bit and she introduces herself to Lauren. She's like, oh my God, I heard so much about you. You're Kieran's girlfriend, right? He told me so much. We're like old friends. We go way back, and Kieran has to like grin and bear it, you know?
Lauren probably knows it's Belladonna because she's seen her with Tim's sake and shit. So she's just like,
oh, true. She does know Lauren.
Yeah, like Lauren's like, she spied on them together. She saw her murder Tim. So it's like, ooh.
Or maybe Bella pulls a Sandman and kidnaps Kieran, leaving Lauren wherever. She's like, hey, yo, Kieran, what is she doing here?
Oh God, I scrolled down to the comments. These are the top comments for this episode are so funny. Guys, I think Tristan and Dakan might be gay.
It's, really empath, sensing. Me, an empath, sensing that Dakan and Tristan are in a relationship.
Oh, yes. And then the other one, I think Lauren being able to bake is the most surprising thing we've ever had so far.
I mean, it's true.
And then Lauren's face on the again. Yes. All of these. Yes.
Yeah, PH fans have a good sense of humor, I have to say.
Yeah. You can also tell that the comments, I noticed this, and it's kind of funny to me, the comments about the queer relationships have more dislikes than the other comments, which is sad, but yeah.
It's the homophobia.
Yeah.
There's no place here in this story. No.
I would
we will take terrorism and all this other shit, but no.
Yeah, Stephan earlier in that episode, he made the word lover a slur, like he was like, was it like Tristan or Dakan and his lover, like the right hand man and his lover? I was like, dang, he made that word derogatory as hell.
Lover, derogatory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was just because he didn't like them, and
Stephan homophobia art,
No, I didn't see that necessarily, but
it's just,
not actually, but
his jokes.
I wonder though, like, we're probably gonna get Bella again. So I know I never shut up about her, but because Darcy did leave the note there, we are probably gonna get her again sometime, and especially with the circus, So like, I just think it'd be kind of funny if Bella sees Kieran with his girlfriend, right, and then she goes home and she finds out from her girlfriend that she doesn't want to be her girlfriend,
Alternately, what if we see Bella RC interaction and Lauren sees Bella RC interaction? She's like, interesting, the girl who's Will's dad is trying to set up with him is with this assassin, like,
oh my God, imagine.
And that's why we get Lauren and Darcy like beginning to like and then stuff at the cave later.
Imagine Lauren's like, oh my God, I have to tell this poor woman that this other woman is Phantom Scythe, and that she's the Golden Viper assassin. And so she goes to Darcy. She's like, I have terrible news. Belladonna is the Golden Viper. And Darcy's like, oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, and
she's like, well, yeah, you're with Kieran, heck, the purple high.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great if Darcy knew who he was? That would be fun.
Well, Kieran does know Darcy, right? He
Yes.
makes several references to her. So
But like that's like I don't know if that means that he's met her yet, though, but
Yeah.
like could be. Or like even if she has met him, how does she if she knows that he's the purple hyacinth, but
I kind of really hope that Kieran and Darcy have met, because I think they would be actual best friends, but also like the Darcy and then Kieran third wheel is my favorite trio in this comic, so I need them to know each other for personal reasons. But yeah, I think it would be kind of funny if Darcy knew that Kieran was the PH and was like, yeah, I'm chill with that,
Cool. All right, Dave, any other theories?
I guess building off that, I think Bella is in debt to Kieran, and I do think that debt relates to Darcy, since again Kieran knows about her. And if he doesn't know about her, I think it would be funny if Bella, like when they were younger, Bella was like, let me tell you about this stunning woman I met today, and they like gossip between themselves.
That's funny.
Otherwise, yeah.
Oh,
I feel the Loki coming. Feel it in my bones again.
Amen.
So-
I want it. I love Loki.
Please give it to us. Please. In my hour of need, please give it to me.
Yes, Bundin deserves it. Bundin's been working hard. Please reward Bundin.
It's so stressed.
Sorry. All right.
Master's degree, man. It does this to you.
Yep. All right. Well, with that positive prayer for the future, let us conclude. Thank you so much for coming on. It was super fun as usual. So thank you.
Thank you for having us, as always.
Yes.
Yep, and have a wonderful night and good luck with school.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much to my current patrons: Susie, Lady Libras, Lily, Jenny, Molly, Veronica, Emily, Joe Rochelle, Saucy Tacos, Meg, Anne Rose, Priya, Alexa, Misty, Joanne, Patty, Emilza, Esther, I'm Watching You People, Tortoise Poppy Seed, Marie, Emily, Jean, Jen, Erin, Kay, Lily, Beckett, Miranda, Christine, Sadie, Kelly, Daniel, Teresa, Mrs. Castaldo, Jen, and Tatiana. Your support is truly appreciated.